Hello, this is Pastor Roland. Today is part two of a lecture on stress, how to become immune to stress. Uh, I said yesterday that stress is killing us all, okay, because we're reacting, getting upset to everything. See, if you stop to think about it, I always give the example of how you go out in traffic and then you get upset or irritated or nervous, okay, by traffic or delays or people cutting in front of you or whatever. And I always say you don't realize just what the impact on your body is, okay? You're reacting. But what I have to say is if you cannot remain patient and calm in that situation. See, now a lot of people appear to be patient and calm, but they're reacting underneath. They're reacting underneath. I'll never forget, a long time ago when I was a young man, I used to love playing billiards. And I went over to the billiard hall to play billiards. And there was a fellow there, big tall guy, good player. But he was very, very calm, okay? Composed, never got upset on the surface. Very, very calm, cool guy. And then all of a sudden one day he was playing billiard. Big tall guy, I don't know, 6'5" or something. All of a sudden one day he just toppled over like a great big oak tree. He just toppled over and he was dead. Okay? Heart attack. Okay, well, I know what his problem was. He was internalizing all the stress. On the surface he was calm, but underneath he was upset. Underneath he was angry. See, he was suppressing it all. So that's what we do. So even the people that appear calm, they're not really calm. They're just suppressing it. Inside, they're reacting. So the point is, whether you express the upset or whether you repress it, either way, it's not good. You're doing damage to your body. You're using up your life force, which is the point I was making yesterday. Okay? But here's the point I want to make today now. If you cannot remain calm in the little things, then how are you going to remain calm in the big things? See, the little things are practice for the big ones. Okay? If you can't remain calm when your wife comes to you with something, or your husband, or your child, or your boss, or your coworker, or there's extra traffic, or there are delays, or somebody cuts in front of you, or somebody looks at you funny, somebody doesn't say good morning to you, okay? If you cannot remain composed and patient, not reactive in those situations, how are you going to remain composed and non-reactive when big things come along? So it's very, very important that you learn how to not get upset. Okay? Now, I want to continue with yesterday's discussion. First of all, let me recapitulate the verses and add a couple new ones. The main verse that we talked about was Matthew 5:39, Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 39, where Christ says, resist not evil. Resist not evil. Okay? Well, what he means is resent not evil. Don't resent evil. Don't become angry. Don't become irritated. Don't become judgmental. See? If somebody makes you resentful, afterwards you feel defeated. Why? Because you were defeated. Okay? On the other hand, some people, they become bullies, or they like one boss says, he said, I don't get ulcers, I give ulcers. So they try to head everybody off at the pass by upsetting the other person first. Okay, well, that's not right either. See, then you lose your character that way. Okay, and you ruin your relationships with your wife and your kids. Okay, so that's not good. So it says, so Paul tells us in Romans 12:21, his letter to the Romans, he says, "Be not overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Okay? Now, when you combine those two together, Christ said, "Resist not evil," but he doesn't mean give in to evil. He doesn't mean to be an appeaser, okay? Which is what most people are. Appeasers, people pleasers. They give in, don't rock the boat, go along to get along. See? They become appeasers. He's not saying that. Evil has to be overcome. Okay? What does it say? Evil triumphs when good men do nothing. Okay? It has to be overcome. It says, Christ said in the Gospel of John 16:33, Christ says, "In the world you have tribulation, but take courage. I have overcome the world." Okay? I have overcome the world. And Peter in 2 Peter 2:19 says, "For by what a man is overcome, by this he is enslaved." See? So there is an overcoming process. See? So for example, if there's an argument, what happens? In an argument, you have two selfish people, two angry people, fighting resentfully, arguing resentfully. Okay? And then if one side wins, they win because they're more intimidating. They win by intimidation, or they win because the other one threw in the towel. See? And the other one goes away resentful. See? That's not right. If there's an argument, then if what is right wins, see, it's not who wins, but what wins. When what is right wins, okay, and the people don't become resentful, but they have a spirited debate, and then what is right wins. Or maybe two people are having an argument, and the one person is remaining patient, reasonable, the other one is unreasonable. See? When the reasonable person wins, and when reason wins, when what is right wins, then it's a win-win for everybody. Okay, you got the idea? So evil has to be overcome, but you must learn how to overcome evil in the right way, not with resentment, not with hostility, not with anger, but you overcome evil with good. Okay, overcome evil with good. Now in this video here, I want to just continue a little bit with what we were talking about last time in terms of stress. Okay? See, stress is not a bad thing. It's how you react to stress that's the bad thing. If you could learn how to learn to react to stress, to respond to stress properly, not with reaction, not with becoming upset, not with becoming resentful, but to respond with patience, and then whatever comes forth from within. If you learn to respond to stress properly, okay, then you can actually use the stress to grow in character, to get better. See? For example, stress is a demand for energy. Okay? Like I said yesterday, two animals fight, one of them wins. The one that wins, to the victor go the spoils. That animal gets the energy of the other one. Okay? That animal grows stronger, the other one grows weaker. But after a lifetime of fighting, even the one that grew stronger, okay, even that one who grew stronger, eventually through fighting in an animal way, uses up his life force. Okay. So when you're confronted with someone who is unreasonable, sneaky, dishonest, not saying what they mean, secret agenda, see, unfair, you go down the list, whatever it is that people do, okay, that's not right, overtly or subtly, then if you react to them, become upset, then what is in them that is not wholesome, that is not good, wins. Okay? If you get into an argument with them in a wrong way and become resentful, then you give up your energy to them. See, you glow with energy and they absorb your energy. Then they use your energy to grow stronger and to overcome you with your own energy. It's like jujitsu almost. They take your energy and use your energy to overcome you. See? Not good? So, but if you overcame evil, if you learn to overcome evil with good, then, see, wasn't it also Paul who said, don't be troubled when various temptations, when diverse temptations come, because when you are tested with various temptations, see, then you can practice patience. See, then you can overcome. See, so when you go out in the world, let's say that you take to heart what I say. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You see how your overreacting harms your wife, your husband, your kids. You see how your resentment is hatred, a sneaky, secret hatred. See, you see that you're not living your own life. You see that you're an appeaser and a people pleaser, and you're letting all the wrong people get away with stuff, and you're pretending to be a nice person, see, always giving in, but actually all you're doing is enabling what is wrong. See? You begin to see all that. And it's very painful to see, but you want to make a change of heart, and you're willing to admit that you're wrong. You're willing to see that you have been a coward, or a bully, or both. See, and that you've been sneaky and you haven't been living your life properly. Okay, so if you're willing to admit that, and you've hated some people, your dad, your mom, so you judge them harshly. Other kids at school, people at work, see. So you're full of a lot of hate, a lot of judgment, okay? So you're willing to admit it now. You're willing to see that there's something wrong with that, okay? Well, and then maybe you get my meditation, to begin meditating, so you can have some objectivity. So you can look at these things objectively instead of emotionally. Then so you can stand back from the squirrel cage of emotion. See, your mind is a squirrel cage of thoughts and emotions spinning each other. So you get my meditation, begin to practice it. You go out in the world, okay, and then now you begin to react less. You remain calm. You begin to express reason. You're able to be reasonable. See, you're able to speak up for yourself. If you don't know how, then watch some of my videos or get my books. You're able to speak up for yourself, not in an angry way, but just saying what's right, okay? Pointing out what's right, okay? And so a lot of good things happen, okay? And so now you get up in the morning, you look forward to the day, because before, when things happened, you became upset, you became resentful, you said the wrong thing, you did the wrong thing, you made things worse, then you went and hid in thoughts to hide from the mess you had made of things, and maybe you smoked marijuana, or you drank, or you ate too much to comfort yourself and to hide from reality, and watched too much TV, and see. But now you go out in the world, face reality, and when things come along, the vicissitudes of life, or when someone comes along with an issue, your wife, your husband, your child, your boss, a co-worker. Now, instead of overreacting, now you remain calm, okay? And then you stand back, you observe, okay? You wait. And if something comes to you, okay, then it's the right thing to say. It's the right thing. It's intuitive. It's from your intuition, your God-given intuition. It just comes out. You don't pre-plan what you're going to say. It just comes out, and it's right, okay? You're expressed. So good begins to flow through you, okay? And the good flows through you, and the bad people won't like it, okay? They flee from you, or they are defeated by the good, okay? Or at least they won't bother you anymore. And maybe if they get a good dose of someone who has good in them, who speaks up, maybe it'll give them enough indigestion with they'll start thinking twice about bothering other people with what's wrong, what they shouldn't be bothering other people with. Okay? The good comes through, and then the good people of the world are um, appreciate your honesty, and it gives them hope. Okay? And they're glad to see you and your children and your partner. They're glad to see you now a better person. They may still test you. They'll still test you. Maybe they don't believe that you really are better. So they'll test you, maybe for a long time. But now you can shine. What's the expression? If there's no danger, how could there be courage? There has to be danger for there to be courage, you see? So there has to be unreasonableness. I was listening to a radio yesterday. Some guy was calling in one of these Christian advice programs, and he was complaining about his wife being unreasonable. Okay, this unreasonable side of her, he said. Then they asked him, well, when did you find out know that she had this unreasonableness? And he said, before we were married, okay? Well, the point is, see, if he were centered, if he were God-centered, if he had virtue, if he had patience, if he had wisdom, if he had long-suffering through his connection, his rapport with God within, then the more unreasonable she is, the more reasonable he becomes. See? See? And then his reason, his patience, his long-suffering, his kindness, his honor will shine. See? So she becomes a stress to him that will actually help him to to grow in character. The stress that people put on you now actually stresses you to grow in character. They don't realize it. They're actually doing you a favor. Okay? They're actually doing you a favor. Let me see if I can find that verse from Paul. I think it's Paul. Such a beautiful verse. Yes, it's actually James. James chapter 1 verse 2. Count it a joy when you encounter various temptations, because they test. The testing of your faith produces patience, or the testing of your faith produces endurance. Okay? And there are other verses that point out the same thing. I think Paul says a very similar thing. But you see, they're doing you a favor, because now they're stressing you to become better. Before they stressed you to become worse, now they stress you to become better. So there's a kind of, so stresses then are an opportunity that bring something forth, that bring the good forth. Okay? And that good, when it flows through you, is also good for you. It's good for your body. It's good for your mind. It's good for your emotional health. It's good for your soul. Okay? My name is Pastor Roland.